Aimsio accounts can expedite their billing process by quickly creating invoices from tickets, with support for multiple grouping options and both US and Canadian tax rates. There are two ways to create an Aimsio invoice. The most common approach is to start on Aimsio's ticket page. Once a ticket's form status is closed, it can be brought onto an invoice. Accounts may also consider identifying tickets that have been approved internally or approved by clients. It's not possible to invoice the same ticket twice, so accounts can quickly isolate the tickets that have not been invoiced by using the invoiced filter along the top of the page. To create an invoice, select one or more tickets for the same job. Right-click anywhere on the selection and choose Create Invoice. When an invoice is created, Aimsio will display an invoice preview window. Information from the job and client will be automatically pulled onto the invoice, along with every line item associated with the selected tickets. It's important to note that even though an invoice number has been created at this stage, the invoice is not yet saved to your account. It's also possible for users to generate a PDF copy before saving the invoice. If users forget to save the invoice, accounts will have a PDF copy without a matching invoice record on their invoice page. Do not forget to save the invoice by clicking Save on the lower right. The second approach to creating invoices is to start by creating a standalone invoice first, by navigating to the invoice page and selecting Create Invoice. Select the job this invoice is for and click Create. Users can add tickets to a new or existing invoice by clicking the Add Billables button. Only closed tickets for the same job can be added to an invoice. To manually add line items to an invoice, select the Add Line button. Include a line item description, quantity, rate, and tax. Then click Save on the far right. Manually added lines cannot be linked back to tickets, but invoiced amounts are tracked in your revenue and job performance reports. When finished, click Save on the lower right to store the invoice in your account. Once an invoice is saved, any tickets associated with that invoice are locked. This is to ensure field teams are not accidentally making changes that can affect your AR operations. Tickets can be manually removed from an invoice, or an invoice can be deleted and remade if changes to tickets are required. Locate an invoice that requires editing from the invoice page. Use the Action button on the left and select Edit. Double-click any line item to bring up the editor. A line item's quantity, rate, and tax can all be changed. Any changes to line items on an invoice will not change the original ticket. Accounts should consider making changes to the original ticket first, then remaking the invoice. To remove a ticket from an invoice, every line item on the invoice associated with the same ticket number must be deleted. Use the Action button to the left of a line item to delete it from the invoice. From the invoice page, use the Action button to delete the entire invoice. Deleted invoices cannot be restored. If an invoice is deleted, the invoice number will become available again for a future invoice. After a ticket's association with an invoice has been removed, the form will be unlocked. A new invoice can be created, or the form can be added back to the existing invoice. Aimsio supports sales tax rates for both US and Canadian customers. Tax rates are managed in your account settings under the Master Data Sales Tax Rates tab. When creating a sales tax rate, accounts have the flexibility to manage separate tax rates for county or provincial tax, and nest it under a parent federal or state tax. Having separate tax rates will allow Aimsio to display the individual rates when an invoice is created. Accounts can also create a 0% sales tax rate, allowing any billing item to be tax exempt. After your tax rates are set up, users can select the tax rate settings for each job using the sales tax rate fields on a job form. Sales tax rates can also be assigned to specific billable items in a price book using the sales tax rate override field. This tax rate will take precedence every time the item is billed. When creating an invoice, tax will automatically be calculated using the job and price book settings. Tax on individual line items can also be changed as needed. By default, all corresponding tickets and each ticket's respective attachments will be included with an Aimsio invoice. Accounts can also upload additional PDF attachments directly to an invoice. From the invoice window, select the Attachments button on the bottom left. Click the New Attachment button to add a row to the Attachments table. Select the Upload button to locate a PDF on your device. Users can reorder attachments by dragging line items up or down. The order of your attachments will dictate the order they appear on subsequent pages of your invoice. There are no limits on the number of PDF attachments that can be uploaded, but each attachment cannot exceed 20 megabytes. While every line item is presented the same way on the invoice window, line items on an Invoice PDF can be grouped and presented in a number of ways using our Invoice PDF templates. Templates are managed in your account settings under the Master Data Invoice PDF Templates tab. To create a template, click the New Invoice PDF Template button. Accounts can adjust the order columns will appear from left to right, and how column names will appear on the PDF. Aggregation options give accounts control over how values are grouped, or they can be left blank to hide the column from appearing on the PDF. Column expansion controls how wide columns will appear on the PDF relative to every other visible column. To preview changes as they're made, Aimsio provides a preview button on the bottom left. Template previews provide a seamless way to test and settle on a preferred layout. At least one invoice must be created in your account first. When you're happy with your template, click Save. To learn more about Invoice PDF templates, visit our Help Center at support.aimsio.com. Invoice PDFs can be downloaded from the invoice page by selecting one or more invoices, using a right-click action and selecting Download PDF. Invoice PDFs can also be created by clicking the Generate PDF button on the bottom left of the invoice window. When generating a PDF, users will have the option to include the main invoice page, any backup tickets, and any additional attachments. When a PDF copy of an invoice is created, line items will be grouped in accordance with the selected Invoice PDF template. Aimsio Invoices support retainage, or holdbacks. Accounts can select a percentage of funds on an invoice to be held back. Funds can then be released on a future invoice. When creating or editing an invoice, locate the retainage field on the bottom right of the invoice. Enter the percentage of funds to be held back and click Save when finished. Aimsio will withhold the amount requested, along with any applicable tax related to the total percentage being withheld. On a subsequent invoice for the same job, select the Release Retainage button to release any withheld funds, including any sales tax, on the invoice. Aimsio's Retainage report, available in the Report Center, provides visibility into the holdback activity in your account. Quickly identify the date and invoice the holdback took place, the amount held back, and the date it was released. Most accounts using Aimsio will be exporting their invoices to an accounting software, like Sage or QuickBooks. Aimsio supports both direct API integrations and custom CSV exports. Accounts using an API integration can export invoices directly from the invoice page by selecting one or more invoices, using a right-click action and selecting the option to push. When invoices are successfully pushed, their status is automatically changed to exported. To learn more about the accounting integrations we support, be sure to visit our website at aimsio.com.